Embracing the art of gardening, cultivating growth, connection, and joy. Gardening is more than just a hobby, it's a way of life, a soulful practice that connects us back to the earth and the rhythms of nature. Whether you're growing food to nourish your body or cultivating a bed of vibrant flowers to feed your soul, the act of gardening offers countless rewards. In this article, we'll dig deep into the spiritual, physical, and emotional benefits of gardening, share some tips for both beginners and seasoned gardeners, and explore how this simple act of tending the land can transform your life. The spiritual side of gardening. Have you ever noticed how a simple walk through a garden can instantly lift your spirits? There's something magical about the way plants grow, the way flowers bloom, and how life seems to effortlessly find its way through the soil. Gardening is a direct connection to the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. The seeds you plant are a reflection of your intentions and your patience. For many, gardening is a form of meditation. When your hands are in the soil, you're not thinking about the worries of yesterday or the uncertainties of tomorrow. You are present, mindful of each weed you pull, each plant you water, and every tiny sprout that emerges from the ground. It's a practice in letting go, in surrendering to nature's process. You plant the seed, you care for it, but you trust the earth and the elements to take it from there. Gardening also teaches acceptance. Not every seed will sprout, not every plant will thrive, and sometimes, despite your best efforts, nature has other plans. This teaches us to accept the impermanence of things, to release control, and to appreciate what blooms in its own time. Physical and mental health benefits of gardening. Beyond the spiritual benefits, gardening is a fantastic way to improve both physical and mental well-being. Let's face it, gardening is hard work. Whether you're digging holes, planting seeds, or weeding, you're getting in some serious exercise. Bending, stretching, lifting, it all contributes to a healthier body without the need for a gym membership. But gardening's benefits don't stop there. Spending time outdoors in your garden exposes you to fresh air and sunshine, which boosts your mood and improves your vitamin D levels. And there's something truly grounding about working with the earth. Studies have shown that the soil itself contains microbes that act as natural antidepressants, so gardening can literally make you happier. If you're someone who struggles with anxiety or stress, gardening can be a powerful antidote. The repetitive, rhythmic motions involved in planting and tending to your plants can have a calming effect on the mind. It's a form of therapy. Being immersed in the natural world allows you to disconnect from the chaos of daily life and reconnect with something simpler and more profound. Gardening is a form of sustainability and self-sufficiency. There's a growing movement towards self-sufficiency and sustainability, and gardening plays a massive role in that. In an age where we're increasingly aware of the environmental impact of our choices, growing your own food is a step toward a greener, more sustainable future. When you grow your own vegetables, herbs, and fruits, you know exactly where your food comes from. You're not relying on mass agricultural systems that deplete the soil, use chemical pesticides, or contribute to pollution. Instead, you're creating a small, self-sustaining ecosystem in your own backyard. It's an empowering feeling to walk into your garden and pick fresh produce for your meals. The joy of growing your own food. There's something indescribably satisfying about eating something you've grown yourself. Whether it's plucking a ripe tomato off the vine or snipping fresh basil for a homemade pesto, the flavors are richer, the connection is deeper, and the joy is unparalleled. And you don't need a huge backyard to start growing your own food. Urban gardening is becoming more and more popular, with people finding creative ways to grow food in small spaces. From container gardening to vertical gardens, there are countless ways to cultivate fresh herbs, greens, and even fruits in a city environment. Connecting with nature and wildlife. Gardening also provides an opportunity to connect with nature on a deeper level. As you cultivate your garden, you begin to notice the wildlife that shares your space. Bees buzzing among the flowers, butterflies fluttering by, birds singing from the trees. All of these creatures play a crucial role in the health of your garden, and in return, your garden offers them nourishment and shelter. By planting native species and providing a diverse array of plants, you can create a garden that attracts beneficial insects and pollinators. Not only does this benefit your garden's health, but it also contributes to the well-being of the local ecosystem. Starting your own garden. Tips for beginners. If you're new to gardening, don't worry. Starting a garden can be a bit overwhelming at first, but with the right approach, it can be a deeply rewarding experience. Start small. If you're a beginner, don't feel like you have to start with a huge garden. Start with a few pots or a small raised bed. Choose plants that are easy to grow, like herbs or leafy greens. Know your soil. Understanding your soil is key to successful gardening. You'll want to ensure it has the right balance of nutrients and drainage for the plants you want to grow. A simple soil test can help you determine its pH level and nutrient content. Choose the right plants. Consider your climate and the amount of sunlight your garden gets when choosing plants. Some plants need full sun, while others thrive in shade. Water wisely. Overwatering is a common mistake for new gardeners. Make sure your plants get the right amount of water without drowning them. Using a drip irrigation system can help regulate watering. Patience is key. Gardening is a slow, steady process. Don't expect instant results. It takes time for plants to grow, and sometimes things won't go as planned. Be patient and enjoy the journey. The lifelong journey of gardening is not something you master. It's a lifelong practice of learning, observing, and evolving with nature. Each season brings new challenges and new rewards. As you nurture your garden, you'll find that it, in turn, nurtures you. The joy of watching something grow, of being a part of the natural cycle of life, is something that never fades. Whether you're gardening to grow food, to create a beautiful space, or to find peace and mindfulness, this practice has the power to transform your life in ways you may never have imagined. So, get out there, dig your hands into the soil, and start growing something beautiful.
Gardening as a path to mindfulness and meditation. For those who are spiritually inclined or seeking a deeper connection with themselves, gardening can serve as a pathway to mindfulness and meditation. In today's fast-paced, often chaotic world, many of us are searching for ways to slow down, be present, and find inner peace. Gardening offers a beautiful solution. When you garden, you are participating in the slow, deliberate dance of nature. Each action, whether it's planting a seed, watering a plant, or simply observing the changes in your garden, is an opportunity to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness, at its core, is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. Imagine this: you're kneeling in your garden, a gentle breeze caressing your face, the warm sun on your back. You've got your hands in the cool, rich soil, and with each movement, you're aware of the texture, the smells, and the sensation of life beneath your fingertips. You're not thinking about your to-do list or dwelling on past regrets. You're simply there, in the moment. In this state of mindfulness, the act of gardening becomes meditative. You'll find that your breathing slows, your mind clears, and you're able to connect with the natural world on a much deeper level. This connection fosters a sense of peace, grounding, and gratitude for the simple, yet profound, act of nurturing life. Many people use gardening as a form of moving meditation. You don't need to sit cross-legged or chant mantras. Just the act of digging, planting, watering, and pruning can serve as a mindful practice. This form of meditation not only calms the mind but also promotes emotional healing and spiritual growth. Healing through horticulture, the power of plants on mental health. It's no secret that spending time in nature has a profound impact on our mental well-being. There's a reason why doctors are now prescribing nature therapy to patients suffering from anxiety, depression, and stress. Gardening takes this one step further by making you an active participant in nature's healing process. When you're nurturing plants, you're also nurturing yourself. Gardening gives you a sense of purpose and accomplishment, especially when you see the tangible results of your efforts. Watching a seed sprout, a flower bloom, or a vegetable ripen fills you with a sense of pride and joy. These small victories can have a huge impact on your mental health, especially if you're struggling with feelings of helplessness or stagnation in other areas of your life. Additionally, tending to a garden requires routine and care, which can be incredibly grounding for people dealing with anxiety or depression. Having a daily or weekly gardening routine provides structure and helps shift focus away from negative thoughts. Plus, being in the garden connects you with the present moment, reducing the tendency to dwell on past mistakes or worry about the future. Horticultural therapy is now a widely recognized practice, used in hospitals, rehabilitation centers, and even prisons to help people heal emotionally and physically. Engaging with plants has been shown to reduce stress hormones like cortisol and increase the production of serotonin, the feel-good chemical in the brain. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed, spending time in your garden may be just what you need to start feeling like yourself again. Building community through gardening. A social connection. Gardening is often seen as a solitary activity, but it can also be a beautiful way to build community. Whether you're sharing the fruits of your labor with neighbors, joining a community garden, or exchanging gardening tips with friends, this hobby has a way of bringing people together. In recent years, community gardens have sprung up all over urban areas, offering people a shared space to grow food and connect with one another. These gardens are more than just a place to plant. They are places where friendships grow alongside the tomatoes and squash. Working side by side, people of all ages, backgrounds, and skill levels can learn from each other, share resources, and cultivate a sense of belonging. Many neighborhoods also host garden swaps where gardeners exchange seeds, plants, and produce. These events not only encourage sustainability but also foster a spirit of generosity and collaboration. You may find that the friendships you form through gardening are just as nourishing as the food you grow. On a larger scale, gardening can also be a powerful tool for social change. Urban farms, school gardens, and community-driven agricultural projects are helping to address food insecurity, teach children about nature, and revitalize underprivileged areas. By participating in these initiatives, you're not only improving your own well-being, but you're also contributing to the health of your community and the planet. The emotional benefits of garden design. Gardening is as much about creating beauty as it is about growing food or flowers. For many, the design aspect of gardening is where they find the greatest joy. Planning a garden is like painting a canvas. Each plant, tree, and stone contributes to the overall picture, and you get to play the role of the artist. But beyond aesthetics, the way you design your garden can have a significant emotional impact on your mental and spiritual well-being. A well-designed garden can serve as a sanctuary, a place where you go to find peace, reflect, and recharge. By intentionally creating spaces for relaxation, contemplation, and connection with nature, you're also designing spaces for inner healing. You might choose to create a small meditation garden, with comfortable seating, calming water features, and fragrant flowers like lavender or jasmine. Or perhaps you prefer a wild garden where native plants are allowed to grow freely, attracting butterflies, bees, and birds. Each choice you make in your garden design is a reflection of your personal values and desires. And as you sit in your beautifully designed garden, listening to the birds sing or watching the sunlight dance through the leaves, you'll find that your mind quiets, and your heart fills with gratitude for the beauty of the world. A garden for all seasons. Embracing the cycles of life. One of the most powerful lessons that gardening teaches us is the concept of seasons. Just as there are times for growth and abundance, there are also times for rest and reflection. The garden mirrors the cycle of life, reminding us that every stage, birth, growth, decay, and dormancy, has its place and purpose. Spring and summer are often the most exciting times for gardeners, with the promise of new life and the joy of harvesting. But autumn and winter have their own unique beauty and lessons to teach. As the leaves fall and the plants go dormant, we're reminded that rest is a crucial part of the growth process, both for plants and for ourselves. Instead of seeing winter as an end, gardeners learn to appreciate it as a time of rest, renewal, and quiet preparation for the next growing season. In this way, gardening helps us embrace the natural cycles of life and find peace in the inevitable changes that come our way.
Gardening is a creative expression, unleashing your inner artist. If you think gardening is all about routine and following strict rules, think again. Gardening is one of the most dynamic, creative forms of self-expression there is. Much like painting or sculpting, you're working with colors, textures, shapes, and even fragrances. Every decision you make, where to place a certain plant, how to arrange stones or add garden ornaments, reflects your personal style and creativity. Consider each plant as a brushstroke in a masterpiece. The bright splash of marigolds here, the cool, calming greens of ferns there, the trailing vines of morning glories climbing a rustic trellis, these are all elements you can play with to create a living artwork. And don't forget about fragrance. By planting lavender, rosemary, or jasmine, you can add an invisible layer of beauty that enhances your garden's ambience. Color schemes are a great way to express your personal aesthetic. Want a peaceful, meditative space? Go for soft blues, whites, and purples with plants like sage, lilacs, and lamb's ear. Looking for something bold and energizing? Try a burst of oranges, yellows, and reds with sunflowers, zinnias, and cosmos. The beauty of gardening is that it's completely customizable to your taste, and every garden can tell a different story. Texture and form are also important aspects of garden design. Combine plants with different shapes and sizes to create an interesting visual and tactile experience. Hostas and caladiums offer large, dramatic leaves, while delicate grasses and succulents provide contrast and variety. And let's not forget about hardscaping, the non-plant elements that give your garden structure. Whether it's a winding stone path, a charming garden bench, or a rustic pergola draped with vines, hardscaping allows you to set the tone and style of your space. Even adding whimsical touches like lanterns, birdhouses, or sculptures can elevate your garden into a true reflection of your artistic spirit. Ancient gardening traditions. Connecting with history. Gardening has been an essential part of human history for thousands of years. Many of the techniques we use today were perfected by ancient cultures that saw gardening as not only a means of survival but also a spiritual practice. Take permaculture, for instance. This sustainable gardening philosophy was inspired by ancient practices and focuses on creating a self-sustaining ecosystem that works in harmony with nature. Rather than forcing the land to produce, permaculture seeks to mimic natural ecosystems, encouraging biodiversity, soil health, and balance. It's a holistic approach that teaches us to see ourselves as stewards of the earth rather than masters over it. Ancient Chinese gardens were designed with deep philosophical intent, often reflecting the principles of Taoism. In these gardens, every element, from the placement of rocks and water to the selection of plants, was chosen to create a sense of harmony and balance with nature. Feng Shui, another ancient Chinese practice, is often incorporated into garden design to ensure the flow of energy, qi, is optimal, promoting peace, health, and prosperity. Similarly, in ancient Japan, the art of Zen gardening evolved as a way to create a tranquil space for meditation and reflection. These carefully designed rock and sand gardens, known as kare sansui, are meant to evoke the essence of nature without using many plants. The patterns raked into the sand symbolize the flow of water or clouds and can be endlessly redesigned as a form of mindful meditation. Even the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, show how deeply connected humans have always been to the practice of gardening. These gardens, thought to have been built in the 6th century BCE, were a symbol of human ingenuity and the desire to create lush, living spaces even in harsh environments. By learning from these ancient traditions, modern gardeners can incorporate timeless wisdom into their own gardens. Whether it's practicing sustainable techniques like companion planting or designing spaces that encourage reflection and peace, we can bring a piece of history into our gardens and, in turn, enrich our lives. Gardening for biodiversity, supporting the planet. one plant at a time in today's world. With environmental issues like climate change and habitat destruction looming large, gardening takes on a greater purpose. Beyond creating beautiful spaces or growing your own food, your garden can play a vital role in supporting local ecosystems and promoting biodiversity. By planting a variety of native plants, you provide essential food and shelter for local wildlife, from birds and bees to butterflies and beneficial insects. Native plants are particularly important because they have evolved alongside local wildlife, meaning they are well suited to providing the nutrients and habitats those creatures need to thrive. For example, planting milkweed is crucial for supporting the life cycle of the monarch butterfly, whose populations have drastically declined in recent years. Similarly, adding flowering plants like echinacea, lavender, or yarrow to your garden can attract pollinators like bees, which are essential to the health of our food systems. Gardening for biodiversity also means letting go of perfection. A wild garden filled with diverse plant species and messy, untrimmed corners may not look as orderly as a manicured lawn, but it's a paradise for insects, birds, and small animals. Compost piles, log stacks, and even small ponds can add extra habitats for critters, contributing to a thriving, self-sustaining ecosystem. Even small gardens can make a big difference. Container gardening or creating a butterfly-friendly balcony with pots of nectar-rich plants can support urban biodiversity. Every plant you add, every insect you support, contributes to the greater health of the planet. The healing power of indoor gardening, bringing nature inside gardening, isn't confined to outdoor spaces. Indoor gardening is an increasingly popular way to bring the benefits of nature into your home, even if you don't have access to a yard or garden plot. Houseplants not only beautify your living space, but they also improve air quality and have been shown to reduce stress and anxiety. Plants like spider plants, peace lilies, and snake plants are known for their air purifying properties, filtering out toxins and improving the air you breathe. Surrounding yourself with green, living things can create a sense of calm and well-being, making your home a sanctuary from the outside world. If you want to take indoor gardening to the next level, consider starting an herb garden in your kitchen. Plants like basil, mint, and thyme are easy to grow indoors and will provide you with fresh herbs for cooking. Not only does this add a delightful aroma to your space, but it also gives you a closer connection to your food. For those with a bit more space and ambition, indoor greenhouses or aquaponics systems offer the chance to grow vegetables year-round. These systems are perfect for urban dwellers who want to cultivate their own food but don't have access to outdoor gardening spaces. Indoor gardening also ties into the growing trend of biophilic design, which seeks to incorporate nature into architecture and interior design. By adding plants, natural materials, and even indoor water features, you can create a home environment that fosters relaxation, creativity, and overall well-being. The garden as a legacy. Passing down knowledge. Lastly, one of the most profound aspects of gardening is the legacy it allows you to create. Gardens are not just for the present, they are gifts for the future. The plants you tend today may grow into trees that offer shade for generations to come. The knowledge and skills you cultivate can be passed down to children, grandchildren, or even shared with your community. In many cultures, gardening is a way to honor ancestors and continue traditions. Heirloom seeds, passed down through generations, are a living connection to the past. Each time you plant a seed from a plant that your grandparents grew, you're continuing a family legacy that ties you to your roots. Even if you don't have heirloom seeds, the knowledge you gain through gardening is an invaluable gift that can be shared. Teaching a child how to plant a seed or care for a garden instills a deep respect for nature and an understanding of where food comes from. It also fosters patience, responsibility, and a sense of accomplishment. Whether you're planting trees that will outlive you or passing down gardening wisdom to the next generation, the garden is a legacy of life, love, and connection.
Innovative gardening techniques. Going beyond traditional methods as the gardening world continues to evolve, many creative and innovative methods are being developed to make gardening more accessible, efficient, and sustainable. These modern techniques not only offer practical benefits but can also be immensely satisfying for gardeners looking for a new challenge. One of the most exciting methods gaining popularity is vertical gardening. If you're limited on space but have the desire to grow your own herbs, vegetables, or flowers, vertical gardening is the perfect solution. This technique involves growing plants upward on structures such as trellises, walls, or even specially designed planters that allow you to create a lush, green wall of life. Vertical gardening is ideal for urban spaces, balconies, or small yards, and it also provides the added bonus of being aesthetically striking. You can take vertical gardening a step further by incorporating a living wall, sometimes called a green wall. These walls are essentially vertical gardens built into or attached to buildings, offering not only a unique design element but also improving air quality and reducing urban heat. Imagine turning the side of your house or a section of your patio into a living, breathing ecosystem. Another innovative technique is hydroponics, which involves growing plants without soil. Instead of traditional soil-based gardening, hydroponic systems use a nutrient-rich water solution to feed plants. This technique is incredibly efficient and allows you to grow plants faster and with less water. Hydroponic gardening is perfect for those who want to grow food indoors or in areas where soil quality is poor. Plus, it's a fascinating project for anyone who loves science and technology. In recent years, aquaponics has emerged as an extension of hydroponics, combining the cultivation of plants with fish farming in a symbiotic environment. Fish produce waste that is converted into nutrients for plants, while the plants filter and clean the water for the fish. This closed-loop system is a wonderful example of nature's balance and efficiency, and it allows you to grow vegetables and raise fish at the same time, a sustainable and rewarding option for those interested in food production. For those with a more adventurous spirit, guerrilla gardening is another exciting concept. This form of gardening involves cultivating plants in public or neglected spaces, often without formal permission. Guerrilla gardeners aim to beautify their cities and bring greenery to abandoned lots, roadside verges, or forgotten patches of land. It's a form of activism that connects people to their environment and demonstrates the power of plants to transform even the most unlikely places into havens of beauty and life. Gardening and personal growth. A journey of self-transformation at its heart, gardening is more than just a physical activity. It's a deeply personal journey that mirrors the transformative process we go through in life. Tending to a garden is like tending to yourself. It requires patience, perseverance, and care, and it teaches us valuable lessons about growth, failure, and resilience. When you plant a seed, you're making a commitment to nurture it through all the stages of life, from germination to full bloom. The same is true in our personal lives. Whether you're working toward a goal, healing from a setback, or pursuing a passion, growth is rarely immediate. It requires time, dedication, and trust in the process. Gardening teaches us about failure as well. Not every plant will thrive, no matter how much care you give it. Some may wither from too much sun or not enough water. Others might succumb to pests or diseases. As a gardener, you learn to accept these failures as part of the natural cycle, understanding that each loss is an opportunity to learn and improve. This lesson translates beautifully to personal growth. We don't always succeed on the first try, and life doesn't always go according to plan. But just as a gardener adapts and tries again, we too learn to embrace resilience, knowing that every setback is a step toward eventual success. Gardening cultivates patience, a skill often lost in today's instant gratification society. There's something profoundly therapeutic about watching your garden evolve over time. Each day brings subtle changes, a new leaf, a budding flower, or the first glimpse of fruit. This slow, deliberate progress is a reminder that growth is a process, not a destination. And just as we celebrate the first blossom of a plant, we can also learn to celebrate the small victories in our own lives. For many people, gardening is also a way to process emotions and find peace during difficult times. There's a reason why gardening is often recommended for people going through grief, stress, or depression. The simple act of caring for something outside yourself can bring a sense of purpose and calm, helping you focus on the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Gardens as teachers of resilience. Adapting to change. If there's one quality that all gardeners develop, it's resilience. A garden teaches us that change is inevitable and that nature has an incredible ability to adapt. Whether it's a sudden frost, an unexpected drought, or a pest invasion, gardens remind us that life is full of challenges, but also full of solutions. One of the most powerful examples of resilience in gardening is seen in perennial plants. These plants die back in the winter, seemingly retreating into the earth. But come spring, they burst back to life, stronger than ever. This cycle of dormancy and renewal is a powerful metaphor for the human experience. There are times in life when we, too, must retreat, rest, and recharge in order to come back stronger. Another lesson in resilience comes from companion planting. Some plants have evolved to support and protect one another, such as corn, beans, and squash in the Native American Three Sisters planting method. The corn provides a structure for the beans to climb, the beans add nitrogen to the soil, and the squash creates ground cover to retain moisture and prevent weeds. These plants thrive by working together, demonstrating the importance of community and collaboration. Gardening also teaches us about the power of adaptation. If your garden faces challenges, you learn to adjust. Perhaps you try new plants that are better suited to the environment or change your watering schedule to accommodate the seasons. In the same way, life demands flexibility and the willingness to change course when things don't go as planned. Through these experiences, we learn that challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities for growth. Just as a plant stretches toward the sun, we too can rise above difficulties by adapting, learning, and finding new ways to thrive. Gardening and the environment. Cultivating a green future. As we look toward the future, it's clear that gardening has an essential role to play in environmental conservation. More than just a hobby, gardening is becoming a critical tool in the fight against climate change, habitat loss, and environmental degradation. One of the most important ways gardeners can contribute to environmental sustainability is through the practice of regenerative gardening. This approach focuses on healing the land and improving the health of the soil, which in turn promotes healthier plants and ecosystems. Techniques like no-till gardening, mulching, and cover cropping help protect soil structure, increase organic matter, and reduce the need for chemical fertilizers. By creating healthy, biodiverse gardens, we can also help mitigate the effects of urbanization. Green spaces act as natural air filters, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. They also help reduce the urban heat island effect, lower energy consumption by shading homes, and promote water conservation by improving soil absorption. Gardening can also play a role in reducing waste. Composting is one of the simplest and most effective ways to recycle organic matter and reduce landfill waste. By composting kitchen scraps, garden clippings, and leaves, you create rich, nutrient-dense soil for your garden while also reducing methane emissions from landfills. In a world increasingly disconnected from nature, gardening offers a way to reconnect with the earth and understand the intricate web of life that sustains us. It's a reminder that every action we take in our garden has a ripple effect, whether we're planting trees that will provide oxygen for generations or creating habitats for pollinators that are vital to our food supply. Sustainable gardening practices. Caring for the earth. Sustainable gardening is about working in harmony with nature to create an ecosystem that is both productive and environmentally friendly. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining soil health, conserving water, and promoting biodiversity. Here are some key sustainable practices that can transform your garden into a thriving ecological sanctuary. 1. Organic gardening. Organic gardening avoids synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, relying instead on natural alternatives. This approach helps protect the environment, promotes healthy soil, and encourages beneficial insects and wildlife. By using compost, mulching, and natural pest control methods like companion planting, you can create a healthy, vibrant garden ecosystem. 2. Permaculture. Permaculture is a design philosophy that seeks to create sustainable, self-sufficient ecosystems by mimicking natural processes. By observing and understanding how nature works, you can create a garden that requires less input and yields more. Permaculture principles include zoning, organizing your garden based on the frequency of use, using perennial plants, and creating closed-loop systems where waste is minimized and resources are reused. 3. Rainwater harvesting. Collecting rainwater for irrigation is a simple yet effective way to conserve water. By installing rain barrels or a rainwater collection system, you can capture runoff from roofs and gutters to use in your garden. This not only saves money on water bills but also reduces the strain on local water resources. 4. Soil health. Healthy soil is the foundation of a successful garden. Sustainable gardeners focus on building soil health through practices like crop rotation, cover cropping, and composting. By enhancing the soil's nutrient content and structure, you encourage healthy plant growth and improve water retention. 5. Native plants. Planting native species in your garden is one of the most effective ways to support local ecosystems. Native plants are well adapted to the local climate, require less maintenance, and provide essential habitat and food for local wildlife. By creating a native plant garden, you can help promote biodiversity and restore local habitats. Garden wildlife and biodiversity. Creating habitats. Gardens can serve as essential habitats for wildlife, and encouraging biodiversity can help create a balanced ecosystem. Here's how to attract and support wildlife in your garden. 1. Pollinator gardens. Creating a pollinator garden filled with flowering plants is a wonderful way to attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. Choose a variety of plants that bloom at different times throughout the season to provide continuous food sources. Avoid using chemical pesticides, as these can harm beneficial insects. 2. Bird-friendly gardens. Incorporating birdhouses, feeders, and water sources can attract various bird species to your garden. Choose native plants that produce berries and seeds for food. Additionally, consider creating sheltered areas with shrubs or trees where birds can find refuge from predators. 3. Habitat creation. Incorporating features such as insect hotels, brush piles, and ponds can provide habitats for a variety of wildlife. Insect hotels offer shelter for beneficial insects like ladybugs and solitary bees, while brush piles provide shelter for small mammals and birds. 4. Companion planting. For pest control. Companion planting is a time-tested practice that involves planting certain crops together to deter pests and enhance growth. For example, planting marigolds alongside vegetables can help repel nematodes and other pests. This natural form of pest control encourages biodiversity and reduces the need for chemical interventions. The role of technology in gardening. Innovation meets nature. As technology continues to advance, many gardeners are finding innovative ways to enhance their gardening practices through the use of smart tools and techniques. Here are some ways technology is revolutionizing gardening. 1. Smart garden systems. Smart gardening systems can monitor soil moisture, temperature, and light conditions, sending alerts to your smartphone when plants need watering or care. These systems can help optimize your gardening efforts, ensuring plants receive the right care at the right time. 2. Hydroponic and aeroponic systems. Soil-less gardening systems like hydroponics and aeroponics allow for growing plants in nutrient-rich water solutions or mist. These methods often require less space and water than traditional gardening and can produce faster growth rates. They are ideal for urban environments where space is limited. 3. Garden apps. There are numerous gardening apps available that can help you track plant care, identify pests, and provide gardening tips based on your specific climate and region. These resources can be invaluable for novice gardeners looking to expand their knowledge and improve their skills. 4. Drones and mapping technology. In larger gardening and farming applications, drones can be used to monitor plant health, assess soil conditions, and even apply fertilizers and pesticides more efficiently. This technology can save time and resources, making it easier to manage larger garden spaces. Unique gardening projects. Getting creative. If you're looking for some unique gardening projects to inspire your creativity, here are a few ideas to consider. 1. Vertical herb garden. Create a vertical herb garden using wall-mounted planters or repurposed pallets. This project not only saves space but also makes it easy to access fresh herbs for cooking. Consider adding a small watering system to keep your herbs thriving. 2. Container gardening. If you're short on space, container gardening allows you to grow plants on balconies, patios, or even indoors. Experiment with different containers, sizes, and plant combinations to create a colorful display. Consider using self-watering pots to make maintenance easier. 3. Garden art installations. Transform your garden into an artful space by incorporating handmade decorations and sculptures. Use recycled materials, such as old tires, bottles, or wood, to create whimsical planters, birdhouses, or garden stakes. This project allows for personal expression and can make your garden a unique reflection of your personality. 4. Edible landscaping. Combine aesthetics with functionality by designing an edible landscape. Choose fruit-bearing trees, berry bushes, and perennial vegetables that can provide beauty and food throughout the seasons. Edible landscaping allows you to create a visually appealing garden that is also productive. 5. Community seed library. Start a seed library in your community where gardeners can exchange seeds. This initiative promotes biodiversity, encourages sustainable gardening practices, and fosters a sense of community. Create a space where people can share their favorite heirloom varieties and learn from each other. Bringing the garden to life. A holistic approach. Gardening is not merely a hobby. It's a way of life that connects us to nature, nurtures our well-being, and enhances our communities. By incorporating sustainable practices, promoting biodiversity, embracing technology, and exploring unique projects, we can create gardens that thrive in harmony with the earth. Each time you plant a seed, nurture a plant, or harvest a crop, you are participating in a timeless tradition that spans generations. Gardening is a journey of discovery and growth, and it offers an opportunity to learn about ourselves and the world around us. As we embrace the beauty and wisdom of gardening, let's remember to share our knowledge and experiences with others. Whether through community gardens, educational workshops, or simple conversations, we can inspire future generations to connect with nature and cultivate their gardens. Community gardening. Cultivating connections. Gardening has the power to bring people together, and community gardening is a beautiful example of this. In urban areas, where green space can be limited, community gardens provide a vital connection to nature and one another. These shared spaces not only grow food but also foster relationships, promote social inclusion, and encourage environmental awareness. Community gardens can take many forms. They might be set up in vacant lots, rooftops, or backyards, transforming underutilized spaces into vibrant ecosystems. By working together, community members can grow fresh produce, herbs, and flowers, and they often share the harvest. This cooperative spirit promotes a sense of ownership and pride in the garden, making it a valuable community asset. One of the most beautiful aspects of community gardening is the diversity it fosters. People from different backgrounds come together to share knowledge, traditions, and gardening techniques. This cultural exchange enriches the gardening experience and allows for the cultivation of unique plants and crops that may not be commonly grown in the area. In addition to growing food, community gardens often serve as educational hubs, offering workshops on gardening techniques, composting, and sustainability. Schools, community centers, and local organizations can collaborate to create programs that teach children and adults about the importance of healthy eating, environmental stewardship, and the benefits of gardening. Moreover, community gardens can address food insecurity by providing fresh produce to neighborhoods that may lack access to healthy food options. This is particularly important in food deserts, where grocery stores are scarce. By growing their own food, community members gain access to fresh, nutritious produce, fostering healthier lifestyles and strengthening community bonds. Seasonal gardening practices. Adapting to nature's rhythms. Gardening is inherently tied to the cycles of nature, and understanding seasonal gardening practices is crucial for success. Each season offers its unique opportunities and challenges, and adapting to these changes is part of the joy and complexity of gardening. Spring. Awakening and planting. Spring is a time of awakening as nature bursts forth with new life. This season is perfect for planting seeds and nurturing young plants. Gardeners can start with cool season crops like lettuce, peas, and radishes that thrive in the cooler temperatures. In many regions, spring is also the time for soil preparation. After the long winter, it's essential to amend the soil with compost or organic matter, ensuring it's rich in nutrients for the upcoming growing season. Gardeners should also check for pests and diseases that may have overwintered in the soil. Spring is also a great time for planning and design. Gardeners can sketch out their garden layouts, considering factors like sunlight, drainage, and plant compatibility. Companion planting, where compatible plants are grown together to enhance growth and deter pests, is an essential consideration during this stage. Summer. Growth and maintenance. Summer is a time of growth, with plants reaching their full potential. This season requires diligent care, regular watering, weeding, and monitoring for pests and diseases are vital to ensure a bountiful harvest. It's also the time for harvesting early crops, which can encourage more growth and production. Gardening in the summer can also be a time of experimentation. Many gardeners enjoy trying out new plants or techniques, such as intercropping, where different crops are grown together to maximize space and resources. This not only increases yields but also creates a diverse ecosystem that can deter pests. In hotter climates, gardeners may need to adapt their practices to prevent heat stress. This can include mulching to retain moisture, providing shade for delicate plants, and watering in the cooler parts of the day to reduce evaporation. Fall. Reflection and preparation. As summer transitions into fall, it's a time for reflection and preparation. Harvesting crops like tomatoes, peppers, and squash signals the end of the growing season. Fall is also an excellent time for planting perennials, which will establish their roots before winter sets in. Gardeners should also take the time to prepare their gardens for winter. This includes cleaning up debris, adding compost to enrich the soil, and considering cover crops that can improve soil health over the winter months. These crops help prevent soil erosion, enhance soil fertility, and suppress weeds. Fall can also be a time for bulb planting. Bulbs like daffodils, tulips, and hyacinths should be planted in the fall to bloom beautifully in the spring, providing a burst of color after winter. Winter. Rest and renewal. Winter is often seen as a dormant season, but it's also an essential time for planning and renewal. While many plants are resting, gardeners can take advantage of this time to reflect on the past season's successes and challenges. It's a great opportunity to read gardening books, attend workshops, or research new plants and techniques for the upcoming season. For those who miss the act of gardening, winter can be a time for indoor gardening. Growing herbs on a sunny windowsill or tending to houseplants can keep your gardening spirit alive during the colder months. It's also a time to plan the garden layout and order seeds for the next planting season. Additionally, some gardeners engage in winter sowing, a method that involves planting seeds in containers that are placed outside during the winter months. This method allows for early germination as temperatures warm in spring, giving plants a head start. Garden design principles. Creating harmonious spaces. Designing a garden is an art form that involves creativity, aesthetics, and functionality. Understanding basic garden design principles can help create spaces that are not only beautiful but also sustainable and inviting. 1. Unity and harmony. A successful garden should have a sense of unity and harmony, where all elements work together cohesively. This can be achieved through the use of a consistent color palette, similar plant textures, and complementary materials. When designing your garden, think about how each element interacts with others, creating a visually pleasing environment. 2. Balance in garden design can be achieved through symmetrical or asymmetrical arrangements. Symmetrical gardens, often found in formal landscapes, create a sense of order and tranquility. Asymmetrical designs, on the other hand, offer a more relaxed and organic feel, often reflecting the natural landscape. 3. Focal points. A focal point draws the eye and creates interest in the garden. This could be a striking plant, a sculpture, a water feature, or a seating area. Focal points encourage exploration and create a sense of wonder as visitors move through the space. 4. Texture and contrast. Incorporating a variety of plant textures adds depth and dimension to the garden. Mixing plants with different leaf shapes, sizes, and colors creates visual interest. Consider pairing fine textured plants, like fennel, with bold textured plants, such as elephant ear, to create contrast and drama. 5. Scale and proportion. Understanding the scale and proportion of your garden elements is essential. Plants should be selected based on their mature size and placed accordingly to create balance and flow. Tall plants can be used as backdrops, while shorter plants can fill in the foreground, creating layers and depth. 6. Functionality. A garden should be functional as well as beautiful. Consider how you want to use the space, whether for relaxation, entertaining, growing food, or providing wildlife habitat. Design elements like pathways, seating areas, and raised beds should facilitate these activities while enhancing the overall aesthetic. The magical world of medicinal plants. Healing with nature. One of the most fascinating aspects of gardening is the ability to grow medicinal plants. These plants have been used for centuries in traditional medicine and can be cultivated in your own backyard or garden. Not only do they provide beautiful foliage and flowers, but they also offer a wealth of healing properties. 1. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is a well-known succulent that's often used for its soothing properties. Its gel can be applied topically to heal burns, cuts, and skin irritations. Growing aloe vera is easy. It thrives in bright, indirect sunlight and requires minimal water. Just cut a leaf and scoop out the gel for immediate use. 2. Lavender. Known for its calming scent, lavender is not only a beautiful addition to any garden but also has various medicinal uses. Its essential oil is used for relaxation, reducing anxiety, and promoting sleep. Lavender can also be brewed into teas or infused into oils for soothing applications. 3. Peppermint. Peppermint is a versatile herb that can be used fresh or dried in teas, culinary dishes, or as an essential oil. It's known for its digestive benefits, helping to relieve bloating and discomfort. Growing peppermint in your garden is simple, but it can be invasive, so consider planting it in pots or designated areas. 4. Echinacea. Echinacea, or coneflower, is renowned for its immune-boosting properties. It's often used to help ward off colds and flu. The flowers can be used to make teas or tinctures, and the plants are also stunning in the garden, attracting pollinators. 5. Chamomile is beloved for its calming effects, often brewed into tea to help with sleep and digestion. Growing chamomile is easy, and its small, daisy-like flowers add charm to any garden. Simply dry the flowers for use in teas or infusions. 6. Calendula, or pot marigold, is not only a beautiful flower but also has anti-inflammatory and healing properties. The petals can be used in salves, teas, and skincare products. Calendula is easy to grow and attracts beneficial insects, making it a wonderful addition to any garden. Bringing it all together, a holistic approach to gardening. As we wrap up this exploration of gardening, it's clear that this practice is a multifaceted journey encompassing creativity, community, personal growth, and environmental stewardship. By engaging with the land and nurturing plants, we cultivate not only gardens but also ourselves. Each garden is a reflection of the gardener's unique journey, a tapestry of experiences, lessons, and growth. Whether you're tending to a community plot, designing a tranquil retreat, or nurturing medicinal plants, every interaction with the garden deepens our connection to nature and enriches our lives. As you step into your garden today, take a moment to appreciate the beauty and wisdom it offers. Every seed planted, every weed pulled, and every harvest gathered is a celebration of life. Let your garden be a sanctuary, a source of inspiration, and a reminder of the incredible power of nature to heal, nurture, and transform.